I'm Allister Lewis. I am the founder of AD, which is Automated Data-Driven Design. I have set this up to essentially communicate to a wider audience all of the amazing construction technology software that's out there. And the aim is to provide seamless access to all the new kind of opportunities out there, including AI tools, software that's meant to help architecture, engineering, construction professionals. My journey is I am an architect, and I had a very normal architecture climate into being much more BIM focused. So was around when the BIM level 2 kind of mandate was coming out, working in local authority. So I transitioned to being more of a BIM manager, and then called head of technology in an architecture firm, the AJ 100, which was very much about looking at everything from hardware, software, processes, you know, research and development. It was a really great role because it's really wide ranging. And I left that and became a dedicated BIM manager at a company called MATLAB, which was a consultancy for BIM and computational design. And they changed into being 100% software focused and changed the name to Cope.ai. And they produced a piece of software which is for offsite manufacture, basically taking an IFC model and allowing you to apply products to that. Working in that environment was really interesting because it gave me a view on what context startup looks like.
Brilliant.
Left next year and set up AD, and I've been working this year on that. One is consultancy work, working with architects to new software, workflows and things like that, but also looking at the marketplace, allowing an environment that we can find software quickly and easily than we can currently.
So what's the main role of ad? Is it the marketplace or the consultancy?
So yeah, I'm essentially bootstrapping. So the bigger picture with the marketplace is to have a place where you can search and test and assess software and report on it so that when people have a challenge that they identify, they can find the solutions quickly and easily and test them and then report on those and get that in front of a decision maker and say, look, we've reviewed 4 software, for example. We think this one is the best. We've done a thorough investigation, and they can get that in front of decision makers. And that's all kind of going to say like a minimum viable product at the moment. It
Mhm.
all works, and I'm just doing an assessment of issue management software at the moment to kind of demonstrate how that works. And that will be published on the marketplace as well. So the idea is that, we can create products and sell on the marketplace much easier than we do now. And that includes services. So I've got a lot of content companies offer services for what they do. So I've said, well, put that on the marketplace as well. Not a problem at all. So we've got
Yeah,
product, we've got services, and yeah, it's growing nicely at the moment.
great. So there's a lot of AI hype out there. There's so many apps coming out, and some of them are in testing. Some of them don't work. Some of them work. So from someone getting into this field in the next 3, 4 months, is there anything that you will recommend checking out that you say this is important in your experience? Yeah.
It's a really interesting question. And loads of practices, loads of companies and art professionals are asking this question. What should they be looking for? And it's an interesting proposition in that I have got a meeting with an architect today who want me to do like a 6-month review, which is exactly that, which is like, what's out there? What should we be looking at? So I've got 7 pieces of software here, which are all really different, which I think is quite industry is approaching loads of different challenges. So the first one I've got on here is Cogrum, which is an AI note taker. And there are lots of AI note takers out there, but Cogrum is focused specifically for the construction industry. So it allows you to record meetings and produce minutes, and that then translates that into a really nice summary, which you can then copy and paste into your meeting template. It allows you to put your template in there as well from the outset, so it understands that. And it has got a mobile app to go with that as well. So when you're on site, in theory, that would allow you to record some of those discussions. So that's a really great tool. It's a piece of software called Swap, which is automating drawing production. It's been around for a few years, but it's got to the point now, I think, where they've really refined the offering of that. And the way it works is essentially takes a Revit model and it will produce all of the drawn information that you need for that. So all of your plan sections, elevations, internal drawings, annotations, tags. It starts to automate that process using their AI and machine learning platform, which is pretty incredible. that is something that they are broadening out and trying to engage with more people, more customers now. I think they've done a lot in the US. They're super keen to work with
How-
companies in the UK as well.
I heard they were using a pilot in the UK in the next months, and depending on the results of the pilot, they will roll it out in the UK as well.
Yeah, that's right. So they are looking for people to work with. If you know anyone or if anyone who listens to this wants to find out more, then please get in touch with them. I would be happy to help. There's another software called Howie, which is Howie.systems if you're looking for it online. And it is an AI co-pilot for architecture information. So all architects have servers with multiple years worth of data on them, loads of PDF drawings, DWGs, documents. And Howie's premise is basically that it will allow you to search that information quickly and easily with an AI co-pilot. So rather than having to remember where it is or a certain individual being able to find that quickly and easily, you could use the co-pilot and say, look, I'm looking for brick parapet details or coping details or toilet layouts or whatever, and it will be able to find all the drawings with that on there, present them to you, and you can say, okay, this one is applicable to our next project. Let's use that information. So rather than all the rework that we do on every project, it could be a really powerful tool to help us to shorten that process, basically, where we're not just reinventing things every time.
Yeah, I think it's still like being rolled out.
Yeah. So again, they are looking for people to work with on that, and
Yeah.
I think they've got quite a long wait list at the moment for
Wow.
that. I'm going to be doing a webinar with them and Stepan Milkalic at the end of November. If you want to find out more, we'll be on there, but that will be kind of launching a bit. But that's super exciting to be part of that. Another software is called Infraspace, which I met about 2 weeks ago. They're based in Norway, and they've got an AI-based generative design tool which uses AI for infrastructure projects. So if you want to create a road, rail infrastructure project, it will assess obviously the land formation and give you the most effective layout for that, which is an incredible. It's like the premise of
Wow.
that is amazing. And you can see if they allow you to save, 1% on one of those type of projects, the savings will be enormous because they're,
Yeah.
billion-pound projects. So if they can use that intelligence
Oh,
to create a much better route through a landscape, that could be, really powerful. So,
that's nice.
really excited about that. Another product's called Infrared City, and they do simulations for sun, wind, and solar, which I think they've been around a little while. I met with them about 2 months ago, and they're launching that in a much more kind of active way now. I'm really looking for people to work with them. But again, some of those simple things where we've got massing, we need those simulations quickly and easily to make good decisions at an early design stage would be really, really helpful, I think.
The founder, Angelos, taught me machine learning in 2022. And that was
Amazing. Okay.
before infrared had any funds. So they
Yeah.
were just a bunch of people playing around.
Yeah.
And they got funding, I think like 1 year ago, like huge.
Yeah. A lot of companies, they are exploring things which interest them first and then create a product out of it. And that's probably one of the best places to start, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really interested in something like that. The other option is a piece of software called Struck, Struck, based out of Holland. I think it's Holland. And they are basically, it's an AI tool for building regulations. So they have put all of the UK building they did a test where they put in part M of the building regulations, and then you could query against that looking for visual contrast or, its accessibility and things in there. So, and they're doing that for European standards as well. So that's really great. They won an award a couple of months ago. That's a really good, really useful kind of, it's quite simple in a way, but you put building regulations into an AI tool and then you can query it. It sounds, super.
It's such a boring task.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, that's the thing is it's automating mundane stuff. We should be spending time on the fun stuff like designing and quality environments and better
Yeah.
spaces. The last one I got here is Void, Visoid, and that's an AI rendering app, which is super powerful, really great, makes it much, much simpler than having to obviously create your own environment with stable diffusion and learn all of that sort of stuff. It's grown really, really well. There's a lot of organic growth with that software. So again, worth having a look at that. And I could go on, but obviously I need to stop with it. That's some of the options that are on the ad marketplace at the moment.
So where do you see this going? I mean, in a year's time, maybe 2 years' time, do you have any idea?
I think a lot of them, they're in early stages. So they're looking for validation, product market fit, and getting them in use and in front of people. And that is one of the big challenges for these companies is they've got great ideas, they've got great products, but they need to get them in front of what are quite traditional clients. So architects, I've observed, are fairly traditional in their adoption of tech.
Yeah.
It's not universally true, but it's a challenge to get into, especially smaller, medium-sized firms, and start saying, look, you could use different tools here to help you with the workflows. I'm sure that's partly down to cash flow because we'd all like to have loads of amazing tools, but we don't have loads of money to spend on them, which is one of the challenges for content companies is to work out what their monetization route is because I don't think the reality is they can all be software as a service because the cost would be enormous if you had all these options. So
Yeah.
architects are going to have to choose what's relevant to them. But I think that these content companies are going to grow and develop. Some of them are bootstrapping, like we've talked about, and are growing that way, and that's allows them a lot more control over what they produce and how they produce it. Others have obviously gone for venture capitalist funding, and that puts them under a different kind of pressure to move forward and essentially start gaining revenue and traction, but allows them to scale up quickly and scale up, break things, I think is the term, isn't it? To,
Yeah. Yeah.
move
Yeah.
fast and break things. So that's kind of how they'll work. And I'm sure a lot of them will say, well, we started here, we did a load of work, but we pivoted because we found this thing was more successful for us. And that will be something that emerges over the next couple of years, I think.
Perfect. And any advice you will give to BIM professionals that want to incorporate AI into their workflows?
Something I've been doing is workshops with architects, which are really fun, where we look at a sort of a mapping of what are all the tools they have now and what
Mm.
are the challenges within those areas. And I've got a kind of diagram which I use to kind of show a broad overview of all the tools that are out there for each stage. And then we look at what ones they actually have and then do a gap analysis to find out actually where don't you have tools at the moment? Where could you use either proprietary software, which, I'm thinking of data management, like BIM AEC does dashboards for BIM models and model health and things. Or it may be that they need to develop their own tools if a specific tool isn't out there for them. But by using existing context software, there's obviously a lower level of adoption to get into using a tool which may solve their challenges. But I think having a workshop or an internal session, which allows them to identify where those challenges are. And typically, stage 4 production of information is always one which comes up, which is it takes ages to produce information. So how can we short circuit that? And Swap is looking to automate that production of information and will be right for people. There are other products as well which are doing things like that. Schema, we're looking at automating that production of information, going from a fairly basic generative design mapping model straight into much, much more detailed Revit information. So these tools are going to develop and grow. But I think, like I say, for professionals, it's about identifying the challenges and then thinking about what the options are that fit within them. And my approach is that I've got a database of architecture, engineering, construction software, which I use in those sessions to go, okay, let's look at some of the options within generative design, for example, or AI-based design, or BIM collaboration tools, whatever it might be. That database has been updating over the last. I've been holding it for about 5 years. It was about 500 options about 2 years ago. Now it's up to 1,500 solutions as of this week because every time I see new software, I put it in there. And the hope is, or the long-term aim is to get all that software onto the marketplace so people can
Right.
search and find it quickly and easily, rather than it being in a database list
Yeah.
form, which isn't that helpful in some respects. So the marketplace is constantly updating, and it's now got over 100 different categories in there, which for people to find different software. So eventually all of that will be in a marketplace environment, and people can search for it quickly and easily there.
Yeah. Sounds like you live and breathe and eat AI.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's a good point. I meet with content companies, 2 or 3 each day, find out what they're doing, find out what the product looks like, coerce them to go on the marketplace, basically.
Right.
Most people say yes, which is really great, and they can see the benefit of it. But yeah, it's just fascinating finding out about what's going on out there. And it is a hugely exciting time because the technology that's out there for architects and engineers and construction professionals to leverage to do their jobs, to be better, faster, productive, more sustainable, are incredible. And that's hugely exciting and challenging all at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you very much. I think that was super, super useful. Anything else you would like to add before we close?
No, I've plugged the marketplace enough. I don't need to do it anymore. The only thing I would say maybe is that over the last couple of years, I've been sharing jobs in construction technology. So there's lots of people like you and I who have got much more engaged with the technology side, gone into coding, using Dynamo, maybe doing Python, and look at all this tech. And there are lots of content companies that want experienced people who know about the construction industry and also about the digital side of it. And I've been sharing roles that are out there for that. So computational designers, people who know about IFC schema, maybe know a bit about machine learning and have a coding kind of background. And we've created a website called AEC techjobs,
Okay.
.com. And on that, there's loads of jobs. So if you're someone that wants to get into Contech, the aim is that that site will allow you to see the roles that are out there and to move from current roles as an architect, who might be doing BIM and digital into working for a Contech company and seeing what that looks like. Cause
Yeah.
it's
That's
hugely
a good idea.
exciting. So yes, that website exists. It literally launched yesterday.
Great.
So that's great. So we've got a lot of work to do to promote it and get it in front of people. But looking to help the industry obviously find the right people to fill those roles.
That's great. I'll definitely put the shout out there on LinkedIn or something when I see it.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll send you a link. But yeah, appreciate that.
Perfect. Well, that was great. Thank you very much. You speak super well there. I think you've got a lot of
I,
practice.
I suppose we just because I'm as I say, I do meet with a lot of companies, and you're kind of like you talk about
Mm.
things, and but different bits come up in different times. So
Yeah.
it's great. I love talking about it. I love the whole industry, and I find it fascinating. And it's really great.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you very much.